What's good with you, YouTube? The Cali Effect King of Games here, and today we're going to be watching an exciting match between True King Dino and Sky Striker. Normal summoning Soul Eating to the field. It's going to get negated by an Ash Blossom in Joyous Spring. Anytime you guys can Ash Blossom a Soul Eating, just do it. It's Nike, ladies and gentlemen. Following up, a Dragonic Diagram is going to be activated to destroy the Baby Sarasaurus to be able to add True King Agnizomid from the deck to the hand. Now the effect of Baby Sarasaurus is going to activate spell summoning Petite Pteranodon to the side of the field, and now here are some exciting plays to be made. Since the True King monster is in the hand, we're just going to go ahead and activate the Soul Eating, destroying the Petite Pteranodon to spell summon Baby Saris and trigger the effect of Pteranodon. Spell summon the Miscellaneous Saris to our side of the field, and now there'll be a pretty decent combo to pop off right here. The Fire True King's effect is going to follow up next, destroying both the Baby Sarasaurus and the Miscellaneous Saris as a part of the requirement, being able to destroy a fire monster, or having to destroy a fire monster, triggering the Baby Sarasaurus to spell summon Giant Rex. This is going to be a pretty good combo sequence, as beating Sky Striker can be just as easy as making a Notoria Beast sometimes. From there on out, using the effect of Miscellaneous Saris, banishing itself to special summon a dinosaur monster and drag Alio to the side of the field. Two monsters can be used for Notoria Beast right here, and I know what you guys are thinking. Dracalio is a fire monster. Well, all of that can be solved using both the True King and the Dino for an Link summon into Ruprodicus. Ruprodicus being able to turn the Jirac monster into an Earth monster, and now both of those monsters can be used for a Synchro summon into Notoria Beast. As you guys know, Sky Strikers really struggle against monsters like Notoria Beast because the deck is totally compromised of spell cards. Let's see what can happen, because what does happen will probably blow your minds. Sky Striker is going to go ahead and start off with the Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor. Of course, Notoria Beast is going to negate it. A small price to pay for salvation, as Thanos would say, as Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit will swiftly follow. That's going to be able to destroy the Notoria Beast, since this is no longer on the field. Sky Strikers can play freely. Mecha Module's multi-roll is going to be activated, followed by the Sky Striker Airspace Area 0, and then the Area 0 to be able to send the face-down card to the graveyard, and it's going to be able to fetch a Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. Now this is some pretty good fortunes for Sky Strikers. Being able to get Mobilize Engage off of a Area 0 mill is pretty strong. The card being sent to the graveyard is even better in Metal Foes Fusion. They'll be able to recur that for more resources, but leaving it in the graveyard would be the best opportunity, because getting those spell cards in the graveyard, I mean, obviously, to be able to gain the second effect of your Sky Striker cards will be crucial. Getting rid of the Area 0 for the effect of Mecha Module's multi-roll, special summoning Sky Striker Ace Ray to the field, which will allow you to go into your links a lot more easier, actually without the use of Sky Striker Mecha Hornet drones. Ray is now going to be used for a Link summon into Sky Striker Ace Kana, which fulfills multiple requirements. The first is, now that you have a monster out of your main monster zone, you can use that Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. The next thing is that making any of the other Sky Striker Link monsters isn't really the best idea. The first is, Shizuku is a monster you want to make into your later portions of your sequence. Kagari is a monster you want to make to retrieve the Mobilize Engage. Hayate is just a complete waste. Kana does give you life points, which could come up in a situation where time may be involved. Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor is going to be added from the Mobilize Engage, and as long as this card exists at 3 unlimited, the deck will always be good. Having access to a searchable monster that is a Forbidden Chalice as well as a Mind Control, it just screams power for the deck. Now you guys can already assume the Kana is going to be used for a Link summon. That Link monster can be, or has to be, Kagari, just to be able to get that Mobilize Engage back to your hand. It's going to get you so much advantage. Yes, Kagari is limited to 1, but at the same time, using this at the most opportune moment, getting an Engage back, which will not only get you another search, but an additional resource to your hand through the form of a draw, it's the most opportune time to use Kagari. Searching another Widow Anchor, the deck is gonna be pretty much filled with negations. You have at least 2 disruptions through the Widow Anchor. Not on top of that, the other cards that are possibly in the hand, you can always make that Shizuku at the end of your turn to search your 3rd Widow Anchor, and you also gain 100 life points through the Kano before. Sky Strikers are definitely in a great spot. I think right now would be the best time to use Metal Foes Fusion. You now for sure have 3 spell cards in your graveyard. Since Kagari is limited to 1, there's no way for you to get Kagari again. So yeah, being able to use that Metal Foes Fusion to get another resource, perfect time right now. And that's exactly what Sky Strikers are going to do, adding that Metal Foes Fusion right into the deck, drawing an additional card. Looking at what Dinos can do, they're going to have to play through at least 3 disruptions, because we see the Widow Anchor in the graveyard, 2 Widow Anchors in the hand. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. Playing through 3 disruptions isn't the hardest thing to do, especially seeing that Sky Strikers will get more resources. They've already drawn 3 cards, twice off the Mobilize Engage, and now once off of the Metal Foes Fusion. They can have other cards to be able to disrupt what Dinos are trying to do, so you have to be really cautious. Following up, Sky Strikers using Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor, taking the Reproticus, and here is where you guys should always think your plays through. Sky Strikers thinking about their play, they're going to go ahead and use Reproticus and the Kagari for a Link Summon, and that's not necessarily a wrong move. Taking the Reproticus isn't a bad move either, because you get another token on your multi-roll, but going immediately for a Link Summon, that's not the smartest move, because the biggest Link 3 normally in a Sky Strikers deck, or the most optimal Link 3 to make right now, would be Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn is weaker than what we would have on the board. That Kagari gets a 400 attack boost, making it 2000. The Reproticus is 800. 2800 damage versus 2200 damage. You should always take the higher damage, at least in this situation or situations like these. So thinking about their play, they're just going to go ahead and go back. The Reproticus is going to go back to the side of the field. The Kagari is going to be placed back to the extra monster zone. Both of those monsters are going to swing for as much damage as possible. And that's going to put Dinos at 5200 if I'm correct. Then following up using both of those monsters for a Link Summon, monsters like Nightmare Unicorn can be made to disrupt the Dragonic Diagram. You don't want that card on the field. The longer that it sits for any true Draco, true King, whatever player, the more powerful that card can become. So Nightmare Unicorn discarding a maneuver to get rid of the diagram, that might be the smarter play. So Sky Strikers won't be able to end on the Shizuku that they really want to, but they'll have 4 resources from their graveyard back to their side of the field due to Sky Striker multi-roll, and they'll put Dinos in a really tough spot. Now Dinos just so happen to mill the Miscellaneous Ceres from the deck to the graveyard, meaning that they'll be able to have some graveyard play, even a little bit of management to try to break said board. I think that Dinos are in a really interesting situation. We already know that Sky Strikers will have multiple negates, but very fortunate, Dinos actually milled the Miscellaneous Ceres to the graveyard through the effects of Naturia Beasts. It actually looks like Sky Strikers may just take that away with the Sky Striker Mecha Shark Cannon, and yes, they will, banishing the Miscellaneous Ceres. That's going to be a huge problem for Dinos going forward. Having that monster in the graveyard would have been really good. On the end phase, Sky Strikers are going to use the effect of Sky Striker Mecha Modules multi-roll. They're going to set said Shark Cannon back to their side of the field, as well as a Widow Anchor and a Mobilize Engage. And then on top of that, they're going to set the Field Spell too. Leo taking advantage of that Mecha Modules multi-roll. Too strong, ladies and gentlemen. Dinos following up with the next play. Activating Double Evolution Pill is a plus, but summoning Ultimate Conductor Tyranno won't be enough. The monster has strong attack, but we already know that Widow Anchor is face down, so it wouldn't be flexible. Summoning Dino Wrestler Pankatrops just shows how powerful the deck can be. You have a searchable 2600 monster that can disrupt the opponent's cards by tributing itself. And since Giant Rex was banished, it can special summon itself back to the side of the field. To make matters even better for Rex, it gains 200 attack per dinosaur monster banished. It's at 2400 attack due to both banished Miscellaneous Ceresis. He'll be able to attack with the Giant Rex over the Nightmare Unicorn and swing directly for 2600 damage to Sky Strikers. Current life point total is 7600 to 5200. It's crazy. Or 50. Whoa, my maths was completely off for that one. I don't know how you go from 81 to 76 with a 2700 attack monster. But as you guys can see, the life point calculators on the side should be pretty accurate. Sky Striker having a lot of plays coming in. The best thing is that they can actually bait Pankratrops, and they're going to do just so. Activating Mecha Module's multi-roll pretty much makes Pankratrops useless, forcing the Pankratrops to use it to destroy the Mecha Module's multi-roll. I'm not sure if that was the best idea. Shark Cannon's going to go ahead and follow up by being able to banish a monster in the graveyard. I'm not sure if that's a good idea either. You don't have to use the Shark Cannon. Sending it into the graveyard isn't cost. Activation requirement is just to target with the Mecha Module's multi-roll, and since it was already destroyed due to Dino Wrestler Pankratrops' effect, you're just gonna be able to do it. Now, I think going back, the Pankratrops should have actually destroyed the field spell, the Airspace Area 0. It would get banished, meaning that Ray wouldn't be able to be summoned to the side of the field. And while we wouldn't be able to respond to any of the Sky Striker multi-rolls cards unless there are some hand traps floating around in Dino's hand right now, then I mean, not really much I'm going to be able to do anything anyways. So Sky Strikers with the recovery play, we know that Engage is phased down. And there should be at least, no, I think there's 3 spells in the graveyard. The Shark Cannon should actually be banished now that I think about it. It was set through the effect of the multi-roll. So Engage right here is going to get another of your Spellbook of Judgments, quote unquote, your multi-roll, and the Engage should get banished as well. It was added to the hand. And there are, okay, so there would be 3 spell cards in the graveyard no matter what. The Sky Strikers will still be able to draw that additional card. So Engage should be banished as well. It was set. Okay, and the Engage is going to get banished. And it looks like, yes, the Shark Cannon is going to be banished as well. There was still 3 spell cards in the graveyard, so just a little correction of error right there, and we're good to go. Now, Airspace Area 0 was almost going to be activated, but it looks like we're going to go ahead and follow up with Sky Striker Mecha Module multi-rolls first, which would put a quote-unquote counter on the Mecha Module's multi-roll. I say counter loosely because it isn't a real counter. Airspace Area 0 is going to use its effect, revealing 3 cards from the top of the deck. One of them is an Engage, and Dinos are going to go ahead and give it up. Going into Game 2, Dinos not really showing a lot of resiliency after losing Materia Beast. Though they were able to special summon Dino Wrestler Pankratrops and try to play around, I think that the huge misplay was not destroying the Airspace Area 0. More importantly, Sky Strikers just do those things, and they were able to disrupt the Dino board. I can only imagine that it would have been a lot bigger outside the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. So Dragonic Diagram on a Baby Ceres this time. Baby Ceres' effect is going to pop off. It's going to allow you to special summon a Soul Eating to your side of the field and activate the effect of Soul Eating. Will it get hand trapped? It doesn't look like it. No hand traps to the Soul Eating, meaning that there probably isn't a hand trap that Sky Strikers have right now. Soul Eating is going to add the Petit Pteranodon, and Pteranodon is going to be normal summoned to be destroyed by Soul Eating's effect. Now, the reason why this combo is so good is because off of literally 2 cards, you get to summon 3 monsters from your deck to your side of the field, which will allow you to summon even more, or 4 monsters from your, or I'm sorry, no, 3, I was right. 3 monsters from your deck to your side of the field, which will tutor even more cards to your side of the field. The 4th monster technically is Akhnazamit, but at the same time, you don't get 4 monsters on your field. That's what I'm trying to say. So Akhnazamit activating its effect, destroying a baby and a miscellaneous Saris to special summon himself to the side of the field. That's going to trigger Baby Saris effect. You're going to be able to special summon another dinosaur monster from your deck. So now we're right, 4 monsters would be the appropriate number because now we have the miscellaneous Saris in the graveyard, which can summon another monster to your side of the field. So the monster that we are going to summon has to be a water dinosaur. Megalo Masher X is the best available in that category, 2000 attack, not that bad. Now in our graveyard, we're going to trigger the effect of our miscellaneous Saris. We're going to banish 3 dinosaur monsters to be able to special summon a dinosaur monster with the appropriate level. Jirak Dino is the one that comes to mind, and I know you guys are probably wondering, Callie, what are you doing? Nobody plays Jirak Dino. Like, what is Megalo Masher X doing? This will all be explained within the next few cards. So, since Jirak Dino is a level 3 monster, Soul Eating is a level 4 monster, we're going to synchro into 7. That 7 is going to be Yazi, Evil of the Yang Zing. The reason why we make Yazi is because it tutors a special type of monster on your field, but you need a water monster to be able to destroy it. Activating Basiltrosis effect, destroying both the Yazi and destroying the Megalo Masher X. We're going to special summon the Basiltros to our side of the field. We're going to then be able to trigger the effect of Yazi. Yazi will allow us to special summon a worm monster. That's going to be Mermare to our side of the field. Now, I know you guys love our lovable, troublemaking Seahorse. He'll be able to special summon tokens to our side of the field, which we can eventually use for link climbing. But even more importantly, Mermare is a tuner. And we also have 2 monsters that can change the attribute of monsters on your side of the field. Really exciting to see what this deck can do. Mermare can use this effect up to thrice per turn, meaning that I can bring 3 tokens, but I don't have to summon them all at once. I'm going to special summon Abra and Alakazam to my side of the field, using both of those monsters for a link summon into Beat Cop of the Underworld. And now, since we have 2 arrows pointing down, the monsters that we make on our field don't necessarily have to go, don't have to go into the extra monster zone. Using both the True King monsters, we're going to make True King of all calamities. And now we're going to use Mermare to special summon that last token, detaching the material from calamities to turn all monsters into Earth. And since I control an Earth monster and an Earth non-tuner and a tuner, I can synchro summon into Notoria Beast. Whoever thought that this combo was dead, it's not. We still have a True King of all calamities to be able to negate all of our opponent's monster effects. And now we have a Notoria Beast, which can negate spell cards at any given time. So long as we send 2 cards from the top of our deck to the graveyard, that's not even really a cost. So I know what you guys are thinking. Callie Effect, when can we get this True King Dino deck profile? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you already know the deal. Destroy that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 500 likes, very possible, and you guys will get that True King Dino deck profile. This could very well top a Nationals. So on my opponent's turn, I'm going to use True King of all calamities, and now Sky Strikers can't activate any monster effects. They can't activate any spells because cards like Foolish Burial Goods will get negated by Notoria Beast. On top of that, sending cards like Miscellaneous Saris, today is your lucky day, Dinos. Sky Striker Airspace Area 0 is going to get activated. It's going to be forced to be negated by the Notoria Beast. Its effect can trigger, meaning that he can special summon a Sky Striker monster from his deck to his side of the field. Taking full advantage, you can special summon Sky Striker Ace Ray. The only unfortunate thing is that using it for a link summon to make your Sky Striker whatever effects won't be able to be activated. One could argue, well, hey, at least you make the Sky Striker Link monster, and then you'll have a Ray in the graveyard, so it'll be a lot harder to be able to win in the following turn. Because once the Link monster gets off the field, Ray can summon herself, make a Kena, and prevent a monster from attacking. But then you look and you see that there's a Giant Rex in the graveyard, as well as a Miscellaneous Saris. There is no way that the Sky Strikers will be able to win this round or come back in this round if they don't do anything right here and right now. So Kena into the extra monster zone. Unfortunately, she can't do anything. She has no effects right now. Sky Strikers are then going to follow up with their last ditch effort, activating Jamming Waves. Of course, it's going to be negated by Naturia Beast. This game is over, ladies and gentlemen. Dinosaurs being able to dominate in the fashion that they normally do. Or, I'm sorry, Mobilize Engage too, but yeah. Dinosaurs able to dominate in the fashion that they normally do. Summoning huge monsters to the side of the field, not giving the opponent any room to respond. And then being able to use those huge attack monsters to dominate the rest of the game. This time around, Sky Strikers lost, so they'll be able to go first. Starting off with Terraforming, you'll be able to either add Mystic Mine or Sky Striker Airspace Area 0 from your deck to your hand. In this particular situation, Sky Strikers didn't open the hottest of the hottest hands. They're going to go ahead and add the Sky Striker Airspace Area 0. This is really a testament to how powerful Sky Strikers are. Even in their worst hands, they're going to be able to make a pretty decent board set up pretty nicely just off of 2 cards, that being Airspace Area 0 and your multi-roll. It's almost a testament on how powerful this deck is, almost as good as it looks. And what looks better with a great deck like Sky Striker? Well, playing it on a great mat, and that's where I got the hookup for you guys. If you guys are looking for some awesome apparel, some awesome mats, sleeves, or whatever, go ahead and check out Imperium Duelist. You can get 10% off your entire purchase by using the Cali Effect 10 off. I'll leave the link as well as the code down below in the description. It looks like Sky Strikers are going to be able to do just that. Milk a Module multi-rolls in the Spell and Trap card zone. Then following up with the Sky Striker Airspace Area 0, you're going to be able to get a quote-unquote counter or a marker on the multi-roll. And now the Area 0 is going to be using its effect Upstart Goblin, Reinforcement of the Army, and Ghost Ogre. This is a time Sky Strikers really needed to get a Sky Striker card. But you know what? It's not that bad. Getting a Mobilize Engage would be perfect, but Sky Strikers actually have a couple of other ways. They can either draw into it by using this quick spell card. It's going to be Foolish Burial Goods. They're going to send Metalfoes Fusion from the deck to the graveyard. And now Metalfoes Fusion would allow you to draw another card once you shuffle it back into your deck. Three spell cards in the graveyard, maybe they, no, actually, you can already say that they don't have it, because if they would, using Area 0 on the Foolish Burial Goods would just be completely foolish, now would it? Just let you know that Sky Striker doesn't always draw the best hands, but they can always make something work out. From there, the multi-roll can be used on the Area 0, sending it to the graveyard, which will prevent responses to your Sky Striker cards. It'll also allow you to spell summon Sky Striker Ace Ray to your side of the field. Since there are 3 spell cards in the graveyard, Sky Strikers are really trying to fish for this Engage. If they open Engage or draw into this Engage, they'll be in a pretty good spot. They already have the 3 spell cards in the graveyard. They have not summoned Kagari just yet. They'll be able to make a pretty decent board. Looks like it's all coming down to this. That Metalfoes Fusion is going to be shuffled right back into the deck, trying to get an additional resource. Hey, even if it's not Engage, being able to get a card like Widowmaker would be really good to be able to stop the opponent's efforts. So the moment of truth is here, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be decided right here and right now. Will Sky Strikers be able to pop off? Will they be able to make a board? And no, it does not look like it, or maybe it does. Because the Kagari, or the Ray, is going to be used for a Link summon into Kana? No, unfortunately it's going to be made into Shizuku. That is a clear sign that there is no additional monster or no additional engage going to be played. Now in phase, Shizuku is going to activate her effect. You're going to be able to get Sky Striker Widow Anchor from your deck to your hand. And during that same in phase, before you use the effect of your multi-roll, you can activate your Widow Anchor targeting your Shizuku. That will go to the graveyard and place another pseudo marker on your multi-roll. Now multi-roll will be able to use its effect. You'll be able to set back said Widow Anchor to your side of the field instead of just having it in your hand. You're also able to get the field spell card that you sent to the graveyard as well. So this is still a tough board to go against. We know that there's at least one disruption, possibly some hand traps in this Sky Strikers player's hand. This could be pretty awful to go against. We know that they'll at least be able to follow up with some type of play. So Fossil Dig is going to be activated. That's going to get Baby Sarasaras from the deck to the hand. And if you get rid of the Shizuku, then Array will follow, which can get another Shizuku, which can actually fetch the engage. So yeah, there's plenty of things for Dinos to watch out for. If they're not careful, they can get caught up in Sky Striker's web, and that will lose you the game outright. So following up with our next play, we went Fossil Dig into the baby. We already know it must be a Dragonic Diagram in the hand. That's going to go ahead and get activated. Diagram's effect is going to be activated to be met by a Ghost Ogre in Snow Rabbit. Whoa! And that's going to be countered by a Psy-Frame Gear Gamma. We haven't seen that card in ages. It is the perfect counters to hand traps and allows you to place 2 monsters to your side of the field for free. So Sky Strikers just might be in trouble because the Baby Sarasaras will be able to special summon a dinosaur monster to your side of the field, and a True King monster will be added from the deck to the hand all in one go. Will that mind control be activated? That's going to be crazy. Baby Sarasaras special summoning Soul Eating to the side of the field. That's going to be met by the Sky Striker Widow Anchor. Probably the best time to use it. Stopping that Soul Eating is critical to games. If you can stop this card, you'll be in a pretty good spot. The next things Dino want to do is get rid of this Shizuku without triggering the effect of Ray. So Basiltroth is going to use its effect, and it actually sends 2 water monsters. It has a unique effect that if it does get rid of 2 water monsters as a part of its summoning, you can banish 2 spell or trap cards on the field. So it's a Twin Twisters that is really powerful because you can't even respond to the effect of getting rid of spell and trap cards. You have to respond to the summon. You'll never know if you have 2 water monsters or if your opponent will have 2 water monsters until it's too late. That card is really scary to deal with. On top of that, since it was destroyed, triggering the effect of Basiltroth will be even better. So Sky Strikers are going to lose their multi-roll and their next Widow Anchor. Double Widow Anchor is too strong. And now Basiltroth will be able to activate its effect. Special summoning another worm monster that isn't water. Unfortunately, Mermare is a water monster. Bringing out a True King Akanazumit. Akanamazad. However you want to say that card's name. This is not looking good for Sky Strikers. Their only saving grace right now is that they do have a Ray in the graveyard, meaning that they'll be able to play this out. So I think this is actually a little... No, this is still really good. This is This is really good right here. Because thinking about what you could do, you can't really save, you can't really save the Soul Eating from using its effect unless you had a card like Forbidden Lance or a way to get rid of the Soul Eating before the Widow Anchor was used. But right now, Sky Strikers are not looking at any board whatsoever. Yes, they have their field spell, but you gotta have a little bit of luck just to get the Sky Striker card that you need. Using both the Cyframe monsters for a Link Summon, making Beat Cop from the Underworld. That has 2 arrows pointing down. It looks like we're going to be able to inflict some damage. And then Cold by the Grave to follow up on the Sky Striker Ace Ray. What a madman! Having the Cyframe Gear Gamma for the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and then following up with the Cold by the Grave to the Sky Striker Ace Ray. It looks like Soul Eating will be able to attack over the Shiz. And then some damage is going to be inflicted from the Beat Cop and the True King Aknamazit. This is putting Sky Strikers in the danger zone, but to make matters even worse, you don't necessarily need Naturia Beast to follow up. Sky Strikers only have 1 card in their hand. They won't be able to use any of their monster effects if, well actually, you can almost guarantee that they won't be able to use their monster effects because those 2 True King monsters are going to be made into, that's right, a True King of all calamities, and that monster is a menace to deal with when you're low on resources. I have a theory that if you read the calamities, it'll do something different than what you normally see. So detaching a material from the True King of all calamities, this is pretty much game. Sky Strikers lose the game. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. Let's try to get to 500 likes so we can get you guys that deck profile. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am.